Welcome to a West Virginia small town and foliage photo walk. I'm standing on a bridge here in the small town of Marlinton, West Virginia, and I am this far away from these locations in case you're curious. This town has a lot of charm, character, history, and some gorgeous things to photograph, including some ducks, some water, some colorful trees, and some really unique buildings. We're going to walk the streets here, check out some of the little areas, and to see what we could capture in the moment. So if you're ready, grab your camera and let's capture some moments. The one shot that I have showed before is a simple leaf shot. All you do is hold it up, focus on that. Background's gonna be blurred. And there is your leaf shot. Looks like the town is about ready for Halloween, and right ahead of us here we do have Mr. Jack Skellington. I think he'll make for a good photo subject. Gonna get him framed in here. Wait for the traffic to clear. And recompose. As we come over by Mr. Skellington, we're gonna shoot across the street here. We have a nice, colorful tree. It's showing some oranges, some yellows, and some greens. I'm gonna compose a shot here. The aperture is down as low as it could go. ISO is at 100. And there's a nice colorful tree for the fall season. I found this nice park area that has everything from some volleyball courts, horseshoe pits, playground, but over here there's a trail that will take us down alongside the Greenbrier River. And from when I crossed the river, I did see some wildlife. The kind that quack. We're gonna see if we can maybe get some of them to pose for us. So we do have a couple ducks down here. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can without disturbing them. And of course they're moving away, but there is a whole bunch of them over there. We might have some actually coming over here. They're definitely not afraid of people. There is a restaurant over here with does have a feeding area, so it's not a surprise that they do come near people. Now they're in the sunlight. Oh, some gorgeous blue feathers on them too. All right, so I can't get close enough to the water's edge. It's too soggy and saturated, but what I can do though is find something in the foreground here, focus on that, and use the bridge as a backdrop. So let me see what I could find here that'd be photo worthy. Something that's gonna make for an interesting and nice subject other than just some green grass. Okay, so right ahead of us here we do have these dried out, kind of decaying buds, but they do look interesting to me because they're brown and dead on the inside, but there's still some green leaves around them. So I'm going to compose this. Okay, so I got it in focus. I'm going to bend down here, wait for that vehicle to pass the bridge. And right there. So walking back here in between this alleyway and the main road there is a nice gazebo and a little park area. They do have an American flag there, and the gazebo is all decked out with some corn stalks, some bows, some lights, and if I could find the right composition here, I think it may make for a decent photo with the colorful leaves in the background there. So let's come over here, kind of center it up a little bit. I'm going to do a portrait shot like this, a little bit taller one so we can see the height of the trees in the background. So I'm going to get a little bit closer so I could eliminate some of that grassy area below us and have most of the gazebo as the main focal point with the leaves in the background there. All right, a little bit dark. I'm going to take that one more time, raise my exposure just a little bit, 2 steps. There we go. Now to take it a step further, we could come inside the gazebo and maybe get a shot looking out from where we just came from, maybe down that alleyway with the corn stalks here as our border. So I'm going to crop it in a little bit here. Focus down the alleyway. And I got a nice natural frame with the gazebo and the corn stalks. And we have a character here. I think it's worthy of a photo. The Mothman. It's like a cross between a bear, a bug, and a bat. But Mothman, we're going to take his photo. He is right beneath the American flag here. Just because he is dark, I'm going to raise my exposure compensations, which is going to blow out the background, but make him be properly exposed. Still too dark. I got to raise it up a bit more. Dark subject with a bright background is often tricky. Got to go even higher. Trial and error here. Let's try this one more time. This should be the sweet spot. Alright, that works. Now this building we're walking next to, I remember driving in. I'm going to cross the street for this because it's got some neat architecture and some colors to it. Oh, but before that, we got a football player here. State Farm #1. Let's grab him right here. I'm going to get his upper half. I'm going to recompose it. Use the rule of thirds. And there we go. We got the football player. All right, so this building on the corner here, I'm going to do a wide angle shot. It's got the green bricks, some colorful doors and window panes, and some neat architecture of the rooftop and the halfway point. I'm also not the only one out here taking pictures. And you might recognize that guy right there walking in my shot. None other than Matt PG. Get out of my shot! Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of everything in this picture here. There. That's exactly what I wanted. It is a unique art piece. Looks like a mosaic piece with pieces of glass. And they're all formed together to make some different things here. Everything from a Native American to a waterfall, a cardinal, butterfly, bears, some cows. So going to back up and try to frame this edge to edge. And let's see, let's try that one right there. Yep, that works too. So along the street are these hanging flower pots. I'm going to try to do a shot where I could get the flowers in focus with the green building that we photographed as the background. So I'm going to have to raise my camera up a bit here. You won't be able to see it probably, but I am raising it up, focusing on the flowers. I'm going to recompose just a little bit and try that right there. Yep, that works for me. I do see my next shot. It's a shot I often love to take along roadways, and that's when there's a flower pot or flowers on the sidewalk here, and I can make that the main focal point and blur the background. And I think I'm going to do two different shots here. I got these gorgeous purple and white flowers, which I want to have those in focus with the street blurred out. And then over here, I think we're going to do a shot down the street with the street in focus and these out of focus like we're looking over it. So let's do the first one here. So I'm actually going to move this one over just so it's not blocking us, if I could. There we go. So I'm going to zoom in a bit here. Okay, I got that focused. I'm going to bend down, get the street behind it. And let's try that one. Okay, background's actually a little bit too blurred out for my liking, so I'm going to increase the aperture up to f10, which should make the background not as blurry. And my background just got obstructed. That's okay. We're still going to take the shot. We're doing it as it happens in real life. Just gonna wait for those people to clear out of the way. So focus again on the flower, recompose. All right, that's pretty good. It's not overly blurred out, and the vehicles do show that we're on the street here, so it kind of works. But if we get an opportunity on the way back, if those vehicles are gone, we're gonna retake that shot. But now we're gonna take a similar shot like I mentioned, looking down the street, and the street is gonna be in focus and these flowers out of focus. So I'm gonna kind of peek over them like this and show down the street. I'm gonna wait for these cars to clear by. Let's try this again. Compose the shot. Looking down. There we go. So we're looking just past the flower petals. They're blurred out, but the street is in focus. And definitely want to capture this mural here of a mountain biker coming down the trail. It says, "Welcome to Marlinton, West Virginia." I'm gonna crop that right in. Focus on it right in the center. Perfect. A beautiful building here is the City National Bank. It's a grand scale building. It's got the little lookout up there. So we're going to do a nice wide angle shot. I'm gonna actually bring my exposure compensation down a little bit, make sure the aperture is down low as it could go. And I'm gonna focus right in the middle there. Okay, I'm gonna raise the exposure just a little bit dark in the shadows there. There we go. Nice clear blue sky for the background. So right here is a sign for the Greenbrier River Trail. This is the trail you're gonna see featured on my main channel. And the shot we're gonna get here is just a nice long straightaway. And I could do two different shots. I could either zoom it in, like a nice long zoomed in shot, or I could actually focus on something in the foreground here and blur out the background. So we may try both. We're gonna see here. So I'm gonna zoom in down the trail. Got the flag there hanging. There, that's a nice. Okay, we may witness something that I haven't seen before. I'm gonna stand by here for a second because I'm seeing some West Virginian ingenuity. Without making it too obvious though, the gentleman has a little mini bike, like a little 50 or 100cc bike, and he's got a tow strap hooked up to a Chevy, looks like an S10 pickup. I think he might try to pull the truck with the mini bike. So if that's the case, I kind of want to witness this. It's kind of doing it. Okay, back to our photo shoot. Got distracted there. So we do have a little hopscotch course here on the trail. So we're going to use this to focus that as our main subject, with the rest of the trail blurred out a little bit in the background. So I'm going to highlight the number 1 right here, recompose, and try that shot right there. Okay, I'm going to see if I could get that a little bit better here. After you, go ahead. It's okay. Got a fellow photographer walking here, so we're going to have him in part of the subject here. I'm going to, again, recompose, focus on the number 1, recompose it, and try that right there. There, that's exactly what I was looking for. As we turn around, facing the trail in the other direction, we do have the old depot here, which is now the 4th Avenue Gallery of Marlinton. And where I'm at right now, we have the post with the crossbuck sign, the light post with the flower plants, the flower pots hanging there, and that's going to make for a nice visual and composition of the depot from here. So we're going to try to capture that right here. So I'm going to zoom it in, use the 2 posts as my border, focus on the gallery, and try that right there. Excellent. I like that photo a lot. As we continue across here, we're going to have a few more things to photograph. There is a little, looks like a salmon sculpture right here in front of us. It says, sorry, it's a trout. 8 Rivers Bicentennial Trout. So, very colorful trout. And I think we could compose this using the natural shrubbery here that they have. So, I'm going to do a type of revealing shot. There's actually some insects here too we could get. So we got a couple photos we're going to get here. So I'm going to get this trout. I'm going to actually lower that composition. It gets really bright. I'm going to focus on him. And we're going to be looking just past those little buds right there with the building in the background. Perfect. Okay. Now on these little buds, there are some insects. I'm going to see if I can capture those. I'm going to get nice and close to them. I'm going to raise that exposure compensation a bit because they are in the shadow right there. And let's try that. All right, a little bit dark. I'm going to raise that a little bit more. Recompose, rule of thirds. Perfect. That was a couple opportunities right in the same location. And another shot I just found. Looking through the same path here, the foliage, get into gallery as our main focal point here. So again, we're going to zoom it in. We're going to focus on the building, and we're going to have some objects in our foreground that are going to be blurred out as if we're peering through them. A little bit dark. Let's retake that one more time here. This should be it. Perfect. American Legion over here has another mural on the side of the building with a pair of hands holding a flag, and I think that'd be for a nice little piece to photograph. So we're going to zoom it in, kind of cut out the rest of everything that's there, focus on that. Too dark. Let's raise up the exposure a bit more. It is in the shadows, kind of facing the sun, so it is a tricky subject to photograph with lighting, but there, we got it. As you've seen in this video, a lot of trial and error. As experienced as I am, which I'm not a professional, but I do have experience, I'm still learning to adjust things on the fly, thinking I have the right exposure compensation. Oftentimes I'm off by a stop or two. So if you're learning, I'm learning too. And that's one thing I love about photography, is you're basically never stop learning. There's always something that you can learn or do differently to try to improve your photographs. So, and that's why I do share those thoughts with you in the video, let you know, okay, I need to adjust this, do that, let you know what my thought process is, and maybe it could help you with your photographs as well. But our next subjects, we've got some train cars. Red caboose, which has seen better days. I already know 2 shots I'm going to take with this. I'm going to have just the main focal point of it here, showing the actual caboose, and then we're going to do a couple close-up detailed shots. And we also have a luggage cart here too we could probably photograph, but let's get our established photo done first, showing you what we're looking at here. We got the caboose, obviously. I'm going to bring my exposure down. It's a little bit too bright right there. I'm going to want this to be a little bit darker. Okay, established shot is done. Let's find some details. Now there is a lot of peeling paint on it, so I think we can actually use that to our advantage to focus on a piece of peeling paint and then show down the side of the caboose here. So let's see if we can find an area here that will work for us. So I'm going to focus on this area right here. So we're going to zoom it in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to recompose a little bit so we're showing the side of it. And we'll try that. It's a little bit too blurred out. I'm going to raise the aperture up to f9. Take that same shot again because it was just a bit too blurred out in the background. Focus, recompose. There we go. So now it's a more subtle, blurred out background behind the peeling paint. Let's see what else we could find here. So I think a shot I want to get right here is some details of the numbers and the journal box. So I'm going to focus on the numbers, recompose over showing the journal box, and we'll try that. A little bit too bright. Readjust the exposure. All right, I think that works. As we've seen from a few of our segments here, there's another photographer walking around. I got to talking with him briefly. I was curious what kind of camera he's shooting with. He's a former Nikon guy, now shooting with Olympus, and he is here from Illinois. So he's traveled a good ways too to document the town in his own way. Always good to talk with some fellow photographers, see what they're shooting with, and share some ideas with one another. All right, I think we're in luck. The shot I wanted to get before, where those trucks parked, they're now gone. We're on the opposite side of the street. We still have some flowers here, so we're going to capitalize on this opportunity, and we are going to look down the street over the flowers here. That's exactly the shot I was looking for, and I nailed it. I'm going to do it one more time because I do want to get that welcome sign from Marlington into the picture. That's going to be a nice additional focal point. I'm going to wait for the people to cross. I'm going to wait for the traffic to clear. So oftentimes photography is a waiting game. Patience is key in certain situations and environments. And thankfully, I'm a much more patient individual than I used to be. After patiently waiting, we have our break. Let's take that shot. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted right there. Another shot I want to attempt to get, which is not going to be the safest, but if I could do it right without any traffic coming, is right down the middle of the road, following the yellow lines. Okay, gotta get my opportunity here. I'm gonna kneel down here, focus on the road in front of me, recompose it. I'll try one more. There we go. I'm gonna head back up towards where we started today's photo walk, see if I missed anything, but in the meantime, sit back, relax, and check out my MFS OTD, my favorite shots of the day. So that was our photo walk of a small town in West Virginia, specifically Marlington, West Virginia. A great little town here that has tons of photo opportunities. Everything from buildings to the landscape trees, the flowers, the ducks, whatever it is, there's something here for you to photograph. As you saw, I'm not the only one out here photographing today, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty others in the coming days here with the fall season and peak season just around the corner. I'd love to hear your thoughts on your favorite shots of the day. Otherwise, I'll see you behind the camera real soon. Thanks for watching.